Favorite question, who is Jeff?
Who am I? Right now, I am a son, a brother, a dancer, choreographer, creative. I am a boyfriend. I am loving my life. I am loving working. I'm loving not working. I think who I am changes constantly, and I'm okay with that.
What initially got you into the performing arts?
So when I was younger, my main focus was actually gymnastics. I was a competitive gymnast for many, many, many years, and my aunt, actually on my mom's side, convinced my mother to enroll me into Ukrainian dance. And so I grew up Ukrainian dancing. I did not grow up in a studio, like a traditional studio of tap ballet jazz kind of stuff. And so I grew up doing, my heritage is folk dance. And it was always fun. It was always very community oriented. And I never felt like it was a competition. And so when I went into university, I really didn't think that there was a career in dance. I had no idea that that was a thing. When I got into university, I auditioned for Cirque du Soleil, and I ended up moving down to Vegas for a contract there. And that was the first ever real big show that I had done, where I was working with the best dancers in the world at the time. And that was sort of like my first inspiration. And that group of people and that cast really taught me that dance can be a career. And I guess from then on, I just really had a huge thirst for knowledge. And performing arts is something that you will never know everything for. So that's what got me into performing arts.
And how has it been like navigating between being a dancer or taking on more choreographer roles in the industry?
I guess for my story and my experience, when I finished my job with Cirque, So You Think You Can Dance was just kind of becoming a big thing in the States. And I remember watching that show thinking, oh, that looks so fun. And it looks like those kids are learning so much. And they're on stage, they're performing, they're connecting with their partners. And I think in that moment, I really wanted to do that. And so when I moved to Vancouver, the main purpose was to train for that show. So I ended up getting on the show. It was like, it was my heaven for me, because give me a high pressure environment where you have a week to learn something and you perform it in front of millions of people. Slightly terrifying, but also I really thrive under that pressure of I don't have a choice. So I think that pressure cooker environment really allowed me to exponentially not only grow my dance ability, but also that's all on camera. And so when you're on camera and you are seeing, the Steadicam op coming across this way, Brian, and I'm, always making sure to know their names because they're literally on stage with you. So just, there was always that sense of teamwork and camaraderie. I'm not just on stage performing by myself. I literally have a partner with me. I have a camera on stage. There's judges, there's a live audience. There's the, audience in the camera, that it's never alone. So I think when I transitioned between performer to choreographer, it was pretty, I don't want to say seamless, but it felt a lot easier than I think most dancers find when they try to transition, because I had always from the beginning seen it as a collaborative experience. That it's not just me performing in front of the camera. I also have to know what the choreographer wants. I have to know what the camera is looking at. so that as a dancer, I made smart choices. And the choreographers that I was working with would see that and would want me in skeleton crew or want me as part of the choreography team because I understood that aspect of dance for camera.
Do you think that that sense of like community and camaraderie comes from growing up in like Ukrainian dance and maybe has a stronger root in community than as maybe like a studio competitive environment would be?
I think growing up in the Ukrainian community and the Ukrainian dance community definitely had an effect in just how I hold myself and present myself amongst my peers. Yeah, like we don't have dance competitions, we have dance festivals. So even the language around, growing up and what I was doing performing on stage, yes, we competed for, first, second, third or whatever, but it never felt like that. So maybe that has something to do with my approach to work now and approach to my contribution to the community that I reside in, that I still feel like what I do and who I speak with and how I hold myself and, the jobs that I undertake and how I treat people on those jobs, it matters because I am indirectly or directly affecting who will come after me. The people that I work with and people that I hire are observing me.
What were your obstacles like navigating through more of the film and TV industry, and how did you overcome them?
I think a big obstacle for film and TV, I think a big obstacle working in film and TV, and anyone will tell you this, are the hours. And as a dancer, being ready for 16 hours a day is not physically possible. So that just right off the hop was like a real test of endurance and learning how I need to pace myself. So you think you can dance 3 months, dancing for 17 hours a day without a day off. It's like you learn what your edge is real quick. And I took those lessons to the next job. And then the next job, I took those lessons to the next job. And I think what can be a pitfall for some is forgetting the lessons you learn on the job you're currently on. It's like you're not just there to have fun. Yes, it's always great if you do have fun, but it's good. It feels good to better yourself. It feels good to walk away from a job and feel like, oh, I learned something. I grew. I can take this on to the next job. And so I think the second sort of pitfall that sometimes happens in the industry is consistency. It's like to have that consistent work where you can take those lessons and immediately apply it to the next job can be really difficult for dancers specifically because it does not happen so often. So I think looking in hindsight, like I recognize the fact that I'm very fortunate with the timing and with my preparation and ability in this industry, but I think looking back, if I could do anything different, I would probably take acting classes right away. I would want to diversify my talent color wheel, if you so say, so that I could continue to get different experiences within the film industry, so that when I do dance, I'm not just dancing. I'm performing for camera. I'm looking at my partner. I'm hearing how the DP is talking about the shots, making sure they're lined up correctly, talking to the camera person, making sure that I'm in shot, what's the edge of frame, talking to the choreographer, making sure that everything's good. Like that all came over a long period of time and experience when, if I had maybe diversified earlier, I could have shortened that knowledge a little more.
But it's nice to hear that it's not something that comes overnight.
Oh,
and
God, no.
Yeah.
No.
And sometimes we dancers have this perception that it does, because we only see the end product or that post that says, my first job on this, my first job on that. But it's nice to have a reminder that this stuff takes time. You know?
Yeah, and I, social media is a great tool, but I think people have forgotten that it's a tool. It's a great way to see what the rest of the community is up to. It's a great way to see what your friends are up to. But there is an immediate gratification that is centered around social media, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all that stuff. TikTok. I don't have TikTok, but that is a thing. And yeah, like if you are going to be a person of longevity in this industry, you have to know that it takes time. It takes time to get experience. It takes time. It takes failure. It takes success. It takes learning. It takes humility. And that takes time. It doesn't happen overnight.
What does Jeff do on a day off?
Ha. My days off are not centered around dance at all. I have been actually practicing the tea ceremony for the last 7 years. It's something that brings me calm and joy and center. It is maybe dance related in that there is what we would consider choreography. There are a prescribed set of movements that you follow throughout any ceremony in general, but what is different about it is that every moment is only for that moment. So when you're making tea for someone, it is that moment will never exist again in the way that it does. And so bringing that mentality and that focus of like enjoyment and realization that it will never happen again, I think ends up affecting my work ultimately. So my days off are not centered around dance. They're very quiet and introspective, I would say. I'm more of an introvert for sure.
What keeps you going?
Knowledge keeps me going. Thirst for knowledge keeps me going. I love learning. It is probably the ethos of my life. I took a step away from North America for like almost 2 years. Just really wanted to see if I wanted to work in this industry still, if there were things that inspired me, if I had goals in here, if the schedule aligned with what I wanted in life. And while I was away, I really like discovered about myself in a real way that the thing that really gets me up in the morning and pushes me forward is a desire to learn. I love to learn, whether it's a language, whether it's tea ceremony, whether it's meeting new friends, whether it's hearing other people's stories, that, how to interconnect all that knowledge so that I can move forward with the best version of myself. I love learning.
What would the title of this chapter in your life be right now?
I think the title of my chapter for this part of my life is probably Just Keep Swimming. I think a lot can be learned and gleaned from repetitive movements or, what's the word? Consistency. I think when you build consistency, you find the nuances within the day-to-day and you find what you like and what you don't like. And so I think like the idea of just keep swimming, like this constant sort of movement, you find out what propels you and what holds you back. And so, I'm 35 right now, and as some people would say, that is midlife. I think just keep swimming. Yeah, keep working.
And lastly, we have 3 rapid fire questions. So really just
First
say
thing.
what comes to mind.
Oh God, oh no.
Okay?
Woo!
3 words that your friends would describe you as.
Calm, funny laugh, and quiet. No, maybe not quiet. I don't know. I'm not quiet. I don't know. I have no idea what the third one is.
Funny laugh could be too.
Funny laugh. Okay. Calm, funny laugh, and sense of adventure.
If you were a dish, what would you be?
Oh, weird. I'm having a tuna salad. That's weird. It's the first thing. Tuna salad with pea shoots.
Last one. What movie soundtrack would describe your life right now?
Oh, Lord. Legally Blonde?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.